They say there is one question you should never ask yourself while standing in front of the sea in Ventanilla after nightfall. What if I get a little closer? Because that question doesn't come from you. It's placed there. On the night it begins, the ocean is not violent. It is worse than that. It is unnaturally calm. The waves barely move, as if they had been ordered to stop. The air grows heavy, and one by one, the sounds of the world fade away. No engines, no birds, no wind, only a thick silence that makes your own heartbeat sound too loud. And then, far out in the darkness, the lights appear. They are not modern lights. They don't flicker. They don't illuminate the water. They float. This is how the story of the phantom ship of Ventanilla begins, one of the most disturbing legends on the Peruvian coast. This is not a tale meant to scare tourists. It is a warning passed among those who live by the sea, because this is not just a myth. Real people climbed aboard that ship and vanished along with it. That is why it is also known as the Devil's Hole. The earliest records are not written, they are whispered. Old fishermen say that long before Ventanilla became what it is today, there was already a stretch of ocean that never gave anything back. Lost nets, empty boats drifting ashore, men who went out at night and never returned. The pattern was always the same. Calm water, strange lights, absolute silence. The ship appears without warning. It doesn't approach, it simply exists. One moment there is nothing, and the next it is floating before you, as if the sea itself exhaled it. It is an ancient wooden vessel, dark and worn, with tall masts and hanging ropes that do not sway, even with the wind. Lanterns burn along its sides, but their light does not reflect on the water. It seems to absorb it. Those who have seen it up close all agree on one unsettling detail. The ship feels like it is waiting. It does not chase. It does not attack. It waits to be noticed. It waits for someone to decide to climb aboard. In the 1990s, one case changed the area forever. 3 fishermen set out before dawn, experienced men who knew these waters by heart. Hours later, one of them made contact by radio. His voice sounded distant, hollow, as if he were speaking from far away. He said they had found a ship that didn't belong to any known route, that it was out of place. Those were his final words. Days later, only part of their boat was found floating near the shore. No body, no struggle, nothing. From that moment on, the Devil's Hole became more than an old story. Compasses fail there, engines lose power, the water begins to rotate slowly, like an invisible whirlpool. Fishermen say the sea doesn't push in that spot, it pulls. Not violently, but patiently, and right there, the ship appears again. Some claim they have seen human figures on the deck. They don't walk, they glide, dark silhouettes staring out at the horizon, motionless. Others say they have heard voices, soft laughter, casual conversations, as if the ship were full of people living an impossible normal life. The most disturbing part is that those voices do not call out, they invite. A former port guard once said that one early morning he saw the ship so close he could make out the wooden planks. An overwhelming urge washed over him, a feeling that promised rest, relief. At that exact moment, his radio erupted in static, and a crushing pressure seized his chest. He collapsed to his knees. When he stood again, the ship was gone. The sea, however, remained perfectly still, as if nothing had happened, or as if everything had. There is a testimony many consider impossible. A young man appeared, walking along the beach at dawn, soaked, disoriented, his hands filled with old wooden splinters. He said he had been aboard a ship where time did not move, where the sky never changed, where people repeated the same actions over and over again. Weeks later, before dying without any clear cause, he spoke a single sentence that Ventanilla has never forgotten. The ship doesn't sail. It feeds. The oldest versions of the story trace it back to a Spanish colonial vessel, loaded with gold and desperate men. A storm appeared out of nowhere and swallowed it whole in that very spot. The sea, saturated with greed and death, was marked forever. The ship never fully sank. It remained trapped between this world and something else. That is why the phantom ship never ages. That is why it always appears complete, because every person who boards it becomes part of it. Today, authorities deny everything. They speak of currents, accidents, exaggerations, but fishermen don't need official reports. They know there are nights when the ocean grows too quiet, and when that happens, experience no longer matters. In Ventanilla, there is an unwritten rule everyone respects. If you see lights on the water when the world has gone silent, don't approach, don't stare, don't ask questions, because the devil's hole doesn't drag you down by force. It only waits for you to take the first step.